Friends, hello and welcome on TechGuruSpeaks.com. Today I would like to talk about Java inter-thread communication. In the previous class, I have talked about Java thread synchronization. This concept is quite useful while dealing with multiple threads being executed in a Java program. So now we will be using this concept of thread synchronization to provide inter-thread communication in Java. Frequently, Java threads will need to coordinate between themselves, especially when the output of one thread is used by another thread. For example, let us consider the classical producer-consumer problem in which one part of the program is writing data and another part of it is reading data. But sometimes the reading part gets ahead of the writing part. So that means what? If happens any scenario like this, the reading part must wait for the writer part to finish. Otherwise, chaos may ensue. So, we can fix this problem by communicating between the threads. One way of coordinating between threads is to use the wait, notify, and notify all methods. So, basically, whenever we will be using the wait method, the thread will be put into the block state and it is called waiting substate of the block state, because we are having 5 different types of block state like waiting, sleeping, suspended, blocked on IO and blocked on synchronization that I have discussed in the Java thread lifecycle. But here we are having a block state that is called waiting. So that is the idea. Now we are going to implement this concept by using a coding example, and that is basically specific to the producer consumer problem. That means there will be a writing part and the reading part, and both of them are dealing with a shared data. Now let's see what happens if we are going to solve this problem by using Java thread synchronization. Now let's move to the NetBeans IDE for coding demonstration of inter-thread communication. So here comes our code. Now I am going to explain the code. So this code is having similar kind of structure that I discussed with respect to the previous tutorial named Java thread synchronization. So here we are having a shared object, so that is basically coming from the class named share. So it is having an int type variable. So we are having two methods, write and read, and we also have two different threads. One is called the writer thread, another is called the reader thread. So the writer thread will be using the write method and the reader thread will be using the read method. So that is the idea. So try to remember this concept here. So now it is having two methods which are also considered to be synchronized method. That means basically by using the write method we are going to update the value of this variable. So this is the idea of using the write method, and the read method will be trying to update, I mean to say that it will be trying to read the value of the updated value of this variable name data. So that is the objective here. So now we are having the class writer and class reader. Both of them will be using the shared class reference, and both of them are using the extends thread option, like they are having the same kind of structure. So they will be using the shared reference and the name, that is the name of the thread itself. So I would like to also mention that here we are having a shared class object, and it is passed as an argument to the constructor of the reader and the writer class along with their respective names for their respective object creation. So it is a very simple part to discuss, but the complicated part will be related to the design of the reader thread, the writer thread, and the share class. The way the write and read method have been designed. So that is the idea. So in this case, a writer thread will call an object's write method. So this is the write method to write some data, and the reader thread will call the same object's read method to read the updated value of this variable named data. So now whenever this particular method will be called, the control will be transferred here, and for read, I mean to say for the read method of the reader thread, the control will be transferred to this method of the share class. So that is the idea. Obviously you want the reader thread to wait until the write method is finished. So the write method must finish its task so that it will be getting its chance to update the value of this variable. So that must be ensured. Therefore, all we have to do is call wait. That is important in the read method to make the reader thread wait. Okay. So whenever the reader thread will be calling the read method, the reader thread must wait. So that means it will be giving the writer thread a chance to finish its execution. That means the writer thread will be able to write the new value to this shared variable by using the write method. So that is the idea. And whenever its writing will be over, it will be calling the notify method. In write, that means its writing or updation is over, and it will be giving a signal to the read method of the reader thread that my writing is over. Now it's your turn to read the data, or alternatively we can say the data is now ready to be read. So that is the idea. So the thing is that we are having the main method in the main class named interthread common, that means COMN for communication. So we are having the shared object, we are having the respective classes like reader and writer. Reader class is named first and the writer class is named second, and the reader and the writer will be working on the shared variable by using the respective methods. Like reader will be using read method and the writer will be using the write method. Now both of the methods are synchronized in the class share, and for the reader method it will be using the similar construct that we used for the code used for thread synchronization. The writer class code is also like the same, I mean to say in terms of constructor and the use of the shared class reference, it is same. But the thing is that by using the run method, the reader will be calling the read method and the writer will be calling the write method. So whenever the reader will be calling its read method, it must wait, because we need to ensure that if the writer thread is trying to update the value of this variable by using write method, so if the reader thread will be getting access to this variable, so that means it may be in the I mean to say the write method may be in the process of writing or updating the value of this variable named data. So it may ensure chaos. So in order to avoid this scenario, we'll be writing a wait method call in the try. That means the reader thread, in terms of calling its read method, must wait. So in the meantime, the writer thread will be able to update the value of this variable by calling its write method, and whenever this updation is over, it will be giving a signal to the read method, I mean to say the read method of the reader thread, that my writing is over and the data is now ready to be read. So it will be just signaling it by using the notify method. So whenever it will be, I mean to say the writer method will be issuing the notify method, its waiting will be over. I mean to say the reader thread's waiting will be over. Now the reader thread will be moved to the runnable state, that is ready to run state, from the block state, because waiting is one kind of block state, and whenever its turn will come, it will be getting its chance to execute whenever it will be selected by the thread scheduler. So that is the logic behind the program. I hope that you have understood the concept. With this I conclude today. I hope that you have thoroughly watched this video, and if you like this video, then please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Here comes the URL of my YouTube channel, and please visit my website techguruspeaks.com. You will get a lot of useful information here, and this is my official email ID. Have a nice day. Thank you very much.